And welcome back to SteelersDepot.com's version of Chalk Talk. I am Alex Kozora, and again, we're not going to be going into Chalk Talk in terms of the L22 this week. Maybe next week, again, if you guys want to see something different, new, or some of the old, let me know in the comments. But coming off the Combine, I'm going to stick with some draft talk and kind of mix it up and go a slightly different direction. I want to keep this video a little bit shorter, about hopefully 4 or 5 minutes or so, and just hit on one key point, because we talk about players that we like and I like. I've done my scouting reports along with the rest of the guys at Steelers Depot. But one other factor, when we're talking about what actually might happen based off of the team, is to look at their history and their tendencies, and that can kind of help create a clearer picture and a better idea of who they actually might draft, the Pittsburgh Steelers. And the 4 names I have here, and you might already have an idea of the direction I'm going, because I've talked about this a little bit here and there in some comments and a little bit of the articles, but I wanted to spend a moment or two for a video today and dedicate it to that. And it's the Steelers' lack of drafting players below the Division I level under Kevin Colbert since he came to the Steelers in the year 2000. And these are the 4 guys. This is it. Drafted below Division I since 2000. And I'll put up a graphic here, and we'll go through the names. It's all started in 2013, or the last one was 2013, with Nick Williams, the 7th rounder out of Sanford. Then 2011, the 4th rounder, Cortez Allen, corner out of Citadel. And then there wasn't one from 2006 to 2011. 2006 was Willie Colon, 4th rounder, the guard out of Hofstra. Hofstra's football program is now folded. And then the first one for Colbert wasn't until his 4th year in 2004. 2nd rounder, we remember him, the bust, Ricardo Coakley, out of Division II Tusculum. And so those are the 4 guys. That's it. And I made sure to double check. I'm almost positive of that, that those are the only guys drafted below the D1 level. 3 of those guys are from FCS, and then Coakley was the only one D2 or below. You compare that to the 5 years before Kevin Colbert, and I'll put up the names here. There were 5 players drafted from 1995 to 1999 that were taken, below the Division I level. So more in those 5 years than Colbert has in his 15, and they are as follows from 99 working backwards. They are in 1999 the 2nd rounder Scott Shields, the safety out of Weber State. Also in 99, a big hit here, of course, Aaron Smith, the 4th rounder, Northern Colorado. In 1998, 7th rounder Angelo Rubio, a defensive end, a late round guy. I hadn't even heard of him until this point. 1996, a 4th rounder Earl Holmes, linebacker out of Florida A&M, D2. And then also in 96, the 5th round, Israel Raybon, a defensive end. So in those 5 years alone, compared to Colbert's 15, Kevin Colbert has drafted less Division I player, below Division I than the previous regime. So just an interesting note there. So when we start talking about some of the late round guys and some of the small school sleepers the Steelers could have interest in, guys like, and I'll put up the names here, Robert Myers, guard out of Tennessee State, a kid I liked him at the Combine, liked his build, the quick feet that he showed. Nick Boyle, tight end out of Delaware, a guy that's becoming pretty popularly mocked in Steelers mocks. 270-pound defense or tight end, out of Delaware. Zach Wageman, a guy that I've talked about a lot, guy that I like, outside linebacker, Montana, FCS level. And then David Johnson, running back out of Northern Iowa, who we touched on before, had a really nice combine and has a really interesting skill set in terms of the running back and then the wide receiver capability. The caveat with David Johnson, though, of course, is, this is a guy that did have a great success against D1 opponents. In the last 3 years, he's had success against Iowa, Iowa State, and Wisconsin. So there's one guy that could kind of buck that trend, because you can put on tape of him having a lot of success against D1 opponents. Just something to keep in mind. It's not the say-all, end-all by any means, and clearly the Steelers have done this before, but it's relatively rare, and just another piece of the puzzle to kind of help build the picture of where the Steelers might go in the 2015 draft. Be sure to keep up with Dave's stuff, Chris's, Luke's, and Matthew's as well. I know Matthew's not doing much of the draft stuff. He's doing a lot of the other offseason stuff. That kind of gets swept under the rug, but make sure you're sticking with Matthew as well. And everyone else here, as we get you ready for the draft, the offseason coming up, a lot going on. And as always, thank you for watching here on SteelersDepot.com.